Enjoy what could be a very entertaining 90 minutes in Livingston. The home side, Livy, taking on Rangers with our commentary team of Derek Ferguson, Stephen Craigan and Al Lamont.
Thanks, Rich. Welcome to Amon Vale on a beautiful end of September day in West Lothian. The sun shining, very still. And Livingston looking to pile on the misery for Rangers and their visiting fans by ending a long winless streak against today's visitors. 7 years almost to the day since Dolly Menga's goal earned Livy their last victory over Rangers, and in the 21 meetings since, Rangers have won 19 and conceded just 4 times. But this is a Rangers team that can be got at, and Livy might just feel this could be their day. Teams ready to get underway here. The Rangers fans who have stayed away in pretty big numbers from Ibrox in recent games have turned out, certainly in a visiting capacity, and filling 3 of the stands here at Amon Vale. The home fans taking up the main stand where we are also housed. And it looks like it will be the visitors, Rangers, all in blue, who will kick us off. Going from left to right from our vantage point. Livy in their gold tops, black shorts and gold stockings will look to get back to winning ways themselves, sitting just a point above 11th place Rangers. How often have you heard that sentence uttered? Not very, as Nico Raskan prepares to kick things off here. The referee John Beaton just preparing to blow the first whistle of the afternoon. And as Derek was saying, the backing from the Rangers fans is certainly pretty raucous right now. The players need to make that work for them. Raskan rolls it back to Jack Butland, who plays it long. Not a particularly good ball forward, but it eventually comes to Cornelius, who hits it straight out of play. One of a number of players, as the guys were talking about earlier, I think David Martindale mentioned it, who haven't been to Livingston before. They don't know what this stadium's all about, even the pitch, which is a new one and has had quite a lot of plaudits actually. But it is a different experience from what many will be used to. Half a dozen of Russell Martin's signings in the starting lineup, as Tello Asgard is one of them. He tries to help it on, and then Raskan gets it back to him, and Asgard is fouled on the halfway line, and it's a free kick to Rangers, which Magoma will just take back the way to the Canadian Cornelius. He plays it square to John Souttar. Now it comes to Antman, and Antman needs to start living up to Derek Ferguson's early billing of him as a...
Easy Al.
I can't fail to mention that any time you're on with me, Derek, that you likened him to Brian Laudrup after his debut. Anyway, that's the only time I'll mention it today. Here's John Souttar at the back for Rangers, plays it short to Jayden Magoma, into Raskin and back to Cornelius. There's been a lot of football played at the back by Rangers, and I think their fans, generally speaking, want to see them get it forward earlier, as Barron plays it back to Souttar. Souttar will go diagonally out to Gassama. It's a terrific ball and a good first touch for Gassama now. Attacking on that left-hand side. Comes inside Finlayson, goes for goal. It's blocked by Mo Silla, and it will roll behind from the first corner of the afternoon. And certainly, Derek, we were watching on Thursday night, Gassama, as he has been pretty much all season, looks like their best outlet, their best attacking threat, and really you've got to get it to him as often as possible this afternoon.
Absolutely, and he's hugging that touchline. A wonderful ball from Souttar, diagonal 60-70 yards, and Gassama cutting in, strike it goal, deflected for a corner kick. To be taken by Tavernier, the captain, over on the left-hand side. Right-footed, he'll swing that one in right on top of the keeper, who punches it from just off his line, and Livy will try and counter here. It's Lewis Smith who's furthest forward for them. Magoma will get to it first though, and rolls it back to Jack Butland, who takes a touch and
and then plays it out to Magoma again. He just moves away there from Macaulay Tate on that left-hand side, then runs into Stevie May, and it will be out for a Livy throw-in over on the far side. The home fans round about us encouraged by that counter-attack. Here is Sissoko getting his first touch, not his debut as David Martindale described, but it is his first start since coming in on loan from Man City. Third appearance overall as Montgomery plays it into the midfield. Forward comes Finlayson, out to the right-hand side to Smith, up against Gassama, who's back there. Smith on the left foot, goes for goal, takes a deflection. That was a wicked one, could have gone anywhere. I think it deflected off a Livy player. It's wide of goal in the end, but Jack Butland just momentarily wrong-footed there, but fortunately for him, a few yards wide of his right-hand post, and it remains after 3 minutes here. Livingston nil, Rangers nil. The first thoughts of Stephen Craigan.
I think it's very good from Livingston, nice and composed, making passes, not giving the ball away cheaply. And Lewis Smith, I think, has been very good this season. Actually, he was excellent in the championship last year on that right-hand side. Loves to come in on his left foot, either wants to put a tantalising cross in, doesn't mind getting the shot away. So Magoma has to be careful. He's got to try and force him down the outside. But just on the John Suter diagonal pass, it just shows you don't have to get forward by playing 9 passes. If it's on and one and there's a diagonal pass on, go and play it and change the direction of the game.
Yeah, and John Suter can do that. But here's Stevie May, who's in behind on the right-hand side, making his way into the box. Good save from Butland. It was a tight angle, but Butland had to make the save as Livy come forward once more. Right-hand side, it's Smith firing it into the 6-yard box. Rangers repel that one, and Barron picks up and finds Majowski with a good ball. He's all on his own, though, by Bojan Majowski, and dispossessed well by Silla, and Montgomery picks up left-hand side. Tried to help it on there, Winter, and it's out of play off a Rangers body, but a big early save from Jack Butland to deny Stevie May as he burst through.
Too easy, Al. Again, it's just a simple ball over the top. Stevie May, he's bearing in goals, yeah, it's at the angle, right-hand side into the box, what, 12, 15 yards out, and Butland has to be lively, has to make that save, but too easy from a Rangers perspective, you know, getting in behind. But yeah, this Livingston side have started in confident mood, and you can see the fans here.
Yes, absolutely, and why wouldn't they, given the form Rangers have been in for sure. Still looking for a first league victory after 5 games, as Oscar, who's one of the players who Rangers fans will be hoping to see more from, as he's won a free kick for the challenge by Sissoko over on that far side, midway inside his own half. And Rangers will have the free kick. Played 5 minutes, no goals as yet in this final Premiership game of the weekend. European action to come on Thursday night with Rangers, Celtic and Aberdeen all involved. Rangers got plenty to deal with before then, as Raskin picks up from Oscar and crosses the halfway line. Bursting forward is the Belgian Raskin, out to Gassama, edge of the box, looking to take on Finlayson here, wants to come on his left foot. Is he caught there as he slips? Well, he's asking the referee the question, but he's just going to shake his head, and Jerome Prior picks up and bowls it out, looking for Andy Winter on this left-hand side. Tavernier goes back with him. Winter's gone beyond him, though, into the edge of the box. Stevie May's there as well. May now on the right foot, tries to cut it back for Pittman. It's behind him, but it'll be picked up by Smith. Smith looks to cut one just wide. That was not far away from Lewis Smith. Got the action he was looking for on the ball, but just not enough in the end, as Butland went down to his right, just wide of the post. Livingston nil, Rangers nil.
Well, it comes from the goalkeeper, doesn't it? Prior, he picks up the ball, and rather than just slow and play up and allow Rangers to filter back in, he throws it to Andy Winter, drives forward. Stevie May picks it up. The ball ends up at the feet once again of Lewis Smith. That's 3 times in the opening 7 or 8 minutes, Al, where he's cut inside his left foot.
Butland almost gave that straight to Scott Pittman, but for the intervention of Connor Barron, and Rangers survive. Another scare as Bojan Majowski makes a run. Tavernier looked for him and then didn't play the ball, as Antman gets it instead. Now it's Barron, quick ball to Osgaard, and a bit of space here on the left-hand side. Plays it forward to Gassama. Gassama takes a touch and knocks it almost up to the corner flag, and then runs it out of play. Poor play that from the French winger, who has been one of the few shining lights for Rangers at the start of this season, with 4 goals, albeit all of them in Europe, but on that occasion a couple of heavy touches, and it's a Livingston goal kick. We've played 7 minutes, and Livingston have had the better opportunities, a couple of them so far, and still 0-0 though, as Jerome Prior, the goalkeeper, prepares to take this
And Al Butland not looking comfortable whatsoever. His kicking been extremely poor, takes a bad touch as well. So it looks a little bit nervous on the surface. I'm sure they didn't water it, did they, before the game? But
they watered this half.
Did they water? Yeah, because it looks quite slick at times. I've seen one or two of the players, but certainly Butland doesn't look comfortable with the ball at his feet, that's for sure.
But that's one of the biggest concerns for Rangers, the number of times they pass the ball back to him. Surely defenders are in better positions to play forward. Jack Butland sometimes gets more touches with the ball than some of the outfield players. Get the ball forward a little bit earlier.
Barron trying to help on. Osgard likewise. There's a free kick going Rangers' way in the middle of the park. 8 minutes played, 0-0 between Livingston and Rangers. Migoma to take this just a few yards inside his own half. Back to Cornelius. May goes to close him down. Cornelius brushes him aside and then rather stumbles, and Migoma now is under pressure from Lewis Smith and he's lost possession. Smith, but Migoma recovers well, to be fair. He had to, because Smith was looking dangerous once again. He stayed down after that challenge as Rangers continues up now, holding his right shoulder, I think, but Suter has it. Now it's Cornelius at the back for the visitors. Migoma once more picks up possession and then plays it to his left to Osgard. Back to Cornelius once more, still about 15 yards inside his own half. Suter gets it out to this right touch line to Antman, who comes back in field. Now Tavernier back to Suter once more, back into Antman. Rangers finding it difficult to progress the ball, but it's Suter once more just inside his own half. Cornelius again. Livingston beginning to press Rangers now forward as Cornelius backtracks. Suter to his right. Not a lot of space there for Rangers to operate in. They're being forced backwards, and Suter again has to pick up Russell Martin at the edge of his technical area. Not that there's much of that here at Almond Vale, but trying to get instructions on to his players as they again play it at the back between Suter and Cornelius. Up to the edge of the centre circle, to his side. To his left is Migoma, and he gets out to Gassama now on that left touchline. Forward it goes, looking for Osgard, but he'll be beaten to it by Sissoko. Turns it back to Prior. Prior from the edge of his 6-yard box just knocks it long a little bit aimlessly, and Suter will pick that one up. Almost 10 played, 0-0 between Livingston and Rangers here. As Migoma gets it square to Suter, still midway inside his own half. Out comes Pittman to try and close him down. Cornelius now for Migoma. Again, they're looking for Gassama as the out ball. He plays it into Osgard. He's quickly closed down by Sissoko, but can't get there before the pass gets off to Suter. And now Antman, right-hand side, cuts back in field again and finds Barron. Barron in a congested area pokes it forward to Majowski. Barron takes over once more, trying to burst through. Majowski again. Barron just couldn't bring it under control. Raskan steps in there as well. Breaks kindly here for Macaulay Tate. And John Beaton's going to bring it back for an infringement by a Rangers player. And Livingston will have the free kick. There was no obvious advantage certainly going to accrue. So Livy get the free kick. It's very, very congested in the middle of the park, isn't it?
Yeah, they're well organised, aren't they, Stephen? They're keeping the high line as well, but you're just looking at that high line, you're thinking, either a Raskin, Barron, maybe not, it's not in his game, but they've got to make forward runs and keep making them. We spoke earlier, a fantastic diagonal ball from Suter, but there is space in behind. But again, Rangers, they're keeping possession for possession's sake. Sometimes they've got to play that ball forward a little bit quicker. Just ask the question, get the Livingston defenders running towards their own goal, and ask the question.
Shoving the back of Majowski there by Danny Wilson, who started his career, of course, at Rangers, debut at 17, left for Liverpool at 18, came back again for 3 seasons as Antman picks up and again drives inside. Very rarely have we seen him try and take the full-back on the outside. Here's Raskan for Tavernier in an advanced position, but he's having to go back the way because of the pressure of Montgomery. Suter gets it into Raskan and back to the halfway line for Cornelius. Now it's into Majowski. He goes back to the halfway line for Migoma, and now it's square with Suter still in the centre line. That's flicked through from Raskan. Majowski could be in here. Majowski over the top. Flag stays down. That is a massive opportunity for Bojan Majowski. And Majowski of old would certainly have tucked that home, but on this occasion, played in beautifully by Raskan. It would have been an interesting VAR decision in terms of the offside, but Majowski couldn't slot it into the back of the net to ask the question, and it remains Livingston 0, Rangers 0.
It's a huge chance, isn't it? And it's the one player you want it to fall through from a Rangers perspective. I have to say the flick from Raskan and the spin in the ball fell right into his left foot. It was perfect for him. He just had to compose himself. He'd done the right thing by trying to lift it over the goalkeeper, but should have done an awful lot better. And Russell Martin just threw his hands in the air. And he's thinking to himself, the big moment, the one chance we wanted, and we haven't taken it.
You know, it's a wonderful ball, Al, from Raskin. That little bit of invention, something different. You know, Majowski's clean through. He should be putting his foot through it. You know, I think he tries to find that top right-hand corner. Just put the laces through it, you know, go with power. I think you get a better outcome, but he's not going to get a well. I'm saying at the moment, you would think he's not going to get a better chance than that.
Here's May picking up in a decent position, left-hand side for Livy. Ball into the box is well defended. It's not out of play yet as Danny Wilson now heads it out of play. It'll be a Rangers throw in midway inside their own half. 13 minutes played. Rangers just passed up their best opportunity, but still 0-0. Livingston with Stevie May denied after 4 minutes by Jack Butland. Their best opportunity of the game as Magoma has it at the edge of his box. He tries to find Gassama, but it's picked up instead by Finlayson, who comes forward, and now it's Smith. Smith back to Sissoko, closed down quickly by Raskan, but gets the pass back out to Smith. Gassama stepped in, gets to Raskan, and now Osgar. Can he try and find the ball forward? It evades Raskan, but Majowski picks up on the halfway line, needs to get the pass off. Brilliant challenge by Macaulay Tate. Majowski way too ponderous though. He should have got the pass off well in advance, and Livingston are going to get the free kick here for the late challenge there by Raskan, but Majowski certainly had the opportunity to play that on, and although Macaulay Tate did brilliantly, he shouldn't have had the chance to even make the challenge.
I don't think he was aware that Macaulay Tate was so close to him, but it just shows you the energy and the appetite that Livingston have in that midfield area. Macaulay Tate, and particularly with Scott Pittman, they want to close down. They do all the hard yards. Sissoko is the player's going to get on the ball. He's going to make the passes, but those two ahead of him are going to rat and break up play as much as he possibly can. But you said earlier, the game's so narrow, but every time Antman gets the ball, he wants to go inside. I'm surprised he isn't going outside.
Suter just knocks that back to Butland under significant pressure from Stevie May. Butland first time hoists it up towards the halfway line. Antman not even looking at the ball as Montgomery wins it. Raskan leaves that for Tavernier. I think May would have been offside, I guess, but Tavernier gets it back from Butland. In any case, it's quarter of an hour gone at Almond Vale. Livingston 0, Rangers 0. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland as Suter misplaces his pass straight out of play, looking for Antman, but it's gone out for a throw-in to Livy as Montgomery, the on-loan Celtic fullback, will take this one. Looking for options here as Sissoko comes in, offers himself, as does Tate, who's on loan from Hearts. Montgomery still delaying. Now he goes down the line. They won by Barron, high up in the air. Antman beaten in the air by Montgomery. Pittman heads it high as well. Then it's on by Winter. Stevie May tries to collect it, unlucky there as Tavernier was just a little bit hesitant, but plays it off Stevie May and behind for a goal kick.
You can see why Livingston have gone with Stevie May. He's not given Cornelius or Suter any time to take a touch on the ball. He's on them right away. Do you know, I was about to say that the fans have been excellent towards the players. You know, they've just had a little chant there, obviously, about the manager, but for most part, you know, the players are getting the backing from the fans, you know, which is clear to see.
It's a good challenge by Magoma over left-hand side. Majowski wants it played forward. He's still asking for it. Goes to Gassama instead, left-hand side. Majowski and Antman in the middle. Oscar arriving as well. Gassama tries to go on the outside. Again, he's just run the ball out of play, ran out of pitch there. And the chance is gone. And it remains goalless here after almost 17 minutes of play.
I just think Gassama has to make a better decision there. He's almost on the byline. He's only got a yard to work with. It's now impossible that he's going to go outside. So come back inside, go on to your right foot, put a cross in, just retain the ball in a good area rather than giving it away cheaply.
Brilliant bit of play from Stevie May to take the ball beyond Cornelius, who gets back now. And May gets the pass off to Pittman, right hand side. May will go and collect again on that right flank, about 10 yards from the byline. Good ball in, but Suter gets it clear, comes to Sissoko. It's the pass off there to Finlayson before Majowski can come back. And now it's Wilson out to the left-hand side from Montgomery. Livingston looking to try and break the deadlock here. Winter goes down the left-hand side, keeps it in. Decent challenge from Tavernier, but it is a Livy throw-in down near the corner flag on the left-hand side. Back it comes quickly to Montgomery. Montgomery midway inside the Rangers half, into Tate and back to Wilson. Wilson takes a touch and then tries to fire it into the middle of the park. It wasn't a great pass. Osgar cuts it out, but it breaks for Sissoko, and now it's Finlayson still inside Rangers territory, out to Smith, who's seen plenty of the ball. Finlayson continues his run. Finlayson into the area. Suter clears as Stevie May slides in. That will be a Rangers free kick for the challenge by Stevie May. But yeah, he looks hungry, Stevie May, absolutely. He's still got plenty to offer.
And he keeps breaking all into that left-hand side. Obviously, they see that as a weakness down there. Gassama just certainly not tracking back. Magoma just off it a little bit defensively wise. So you can see that Livingston try to target that Rangers left side.
Montgomery under a bit of pressure here from Antman, turns away from him, plays it infield to Tate, who likewise is closed down by Barron. He's run it out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in to Rangers midway inside the Livy half. Again, there's a bit of a lack of understanding between the Rangers players. I noticed that a couple of times against Genk, not really knowing what the other one's going to do, just either take a throw-in quickly or take up a better position. Tavernier trying to bark instructions to others. Just doesn't seem to be a great deal of cohesion in Rangers ranks.
Just take ownership of it all. You know, you're in, like Barron there's possession of the ball, a throw in. Just throw it. If you want to throw it quick, get possession, get the ball into the box early, do it. Do it yourself. You don't need to wait for instruction.
I think that probably sums Rangers up. Even when they get the ball at the back, it's slow, it's a little bit laboured, delaying. It means Libby filter back in, it's hard to play through. When the opportunity's on to play it forward or to throw it forward, do it.
Here's Oscar, left-hand side, back to Magoma, midway inside his own half, back to his keeper. Jack Butland more or less in the penalty spot for Cornelius, closed down quickly, but he does well to spin and get out to Magoma, left-hand side. He now advances up towards the halfway line and plays it to Gassama. Gassama closely marshalled by Finlayson, but plays it into Oscar, and now it's Suter and over the halfway line for Antman, right-hand side. Now, again, he comes back in field. He had the opportunity there to try and just go down that right touchline, but for some reason he's opted against doing that, and now Cornelius having to battle away against Stevie May. Breaks for Pittman, who gets the ball to Lewis Smith. He helps it on for Tate at the edge of the box on the right hand side. Tate is back to goal, having to come away from goal. Finlayson once more into Sissoko, and back once more with the fullback. Sissoko again into Pittman. Livingston with a bit of possession here as Rangers get everyone back behind the ball. Here's Smith, who just takes a poor touch. Lost concentration there. Well won by Mo Silla in the air. Barron gets it to Raskan. Raskan for his captain Tavernier. Back in field to Barron. Barron with Stevie May trying to close him down. Tries to flip it out to Gassama. That's easily cut out by Finlayson. It wasn't a good enough ball by any means by Connor Barron. Lyle Cameron, incidentally, who's been out of the squad for a few weeks. Rangers expecting him back maybe even before the international break, which is almost upon us. But
you're right, that's a poor ball from Barron. He's got grass to hit it into. You know, even if he overhits that, at least, you know, you're pinning Livingston in a little bit. So certainly don't underhit it, overhit it if anything.
Antman made the run here, and Cornelius failed to spot that. Now Antman picks up, still in play. Infield he comes once more. Back to Barron now. Magoma tossing the halfway line. Gassama's wide of him. Here he is, midway inside the Livy half, left-hand side, into Magoma once more, and now Osgar. Again, it's very congested, really difficult to play through. Magoma tries to lift it over the top for Gassama. Cross comes Silla. That looked like a handball as Silla eventually slides, and I think it'll end up being a throw into Rangers, but it looked like Silla used his arm initially to try and control it. Nothing given apart from the throw-in eventually as he avoids the corner kick. 0-0 it stands then between Livingston and Rangers. Almost a quarter of the game played as Oscar goes back the way but finds the ball infield to Tavernier, who again goes back to Barron. Cornelius closed down by Chissohu and rolled all the way back to Jack Butland, who's midway inside his own half. Cornelius once more now. Antman's across in this touchline. I don't understand why Cornelius couldn't try and just ping the diagonal out to him. There's no one within 20 yards of him, but reluctant to do that at the moment. Here's Cornelius again. That pass is still on to
it's
me.
Not, I'm sorry to butt in, but it's not a difficult pass as well. You're just driving the ball over the top, 60 yards. It should be something that you should be able to do.
Yeah, here's Gassama, left-hand side. Gets it to the byline, to the back post. Antman back into the middle. Chance, goal! Tavernier hits Rangers' opener here from 6 yards out. The hitch kick as Antman helped it back across goal, with Gassama having hit the byline. Antman back into the middle, and there was the captain Tavernier to just hook it into the roof of the net. And after 23 minutes, it's Livingston 0, Rangers 1.
That's a brilliant finish. It's a deep cross, and Antman does ever so well. You know, doesn't give it up. You know, and I tell you what, he just feeds it back into an area. And there is Tavernier, round about 6 yards out. That's a wonderful finish, overhead kick, bicycle kick into the roof of the net, and it's just what Rangers needed. Just been a little bit critical there earlier because it was on. He played a forward pass, but listen, that'll keep the fans relatively happy at the moment. And there's been nothing between the sides, but a wonderful finish for the captain.
You always felt as if there was going to be a goal. Gassama was going to be involved in it, because we spoke previously about Antman always coming inside. Gassama doesn't mind going outside, and that just shows you what happens. Go outside, put crosses into the box, causes havoc.
Good play by Barron. Majowski picks up, can't get past Danny Wilson, but Barron's there for seconds, and it's Antman. Barron once more, right hand side of the box. He wins this side a corner, and at last corner Barron shows the kind of hunger that the Rangers fans are desperate to see from all of the players, and he's won his side a corner here on the right hand side, with Rangers having taken the lead just a few moments ago, as James Tavernier grabs his 4th goal of the season, his 3rd in the league, equal top scorer with Gassama in all competitions. And here he is to take this corner right hand side. The outswinger, it'll be from the skipper, once again adding to his phenomenal goal tally for the club. Here's the corner, in towards the near post. Raskan had gone down off the ball, and that's a free kick Rangers way for the challenge by Macaulay Tate on Gassama. John Beaton not happy with it. Rangers were claiming that Raskan was fouled off the ball as the corner came in. It's a yellow card for the challenge by Macaulay Tate. Was it worthy of that in your view, chaps?
I didn't think so. I think he's trying to go and play the ball. It's just one of those footballing incidents. The ball's there to be won. He has to go and have a nibble at it. Gassama goes down. But just to take it back to the Conor Barron point just after the goal, running forward, the two takeaways in the opening 20-odd minutes: pass the ball forward, run forward. That's the two things that are going to hurt the opposition. It's the two things that have hurt Livingston all afternoon. If you're going to try and play a high line, you're going to be aggressive. You've got to play the pass to take the defensive line out, or you've got to try and run through it. And that's where they've had the success.
So Rangers get a free kick in a pretty decent position, just about 25 yards from the
potential penalty check, it said.
I didn't hear that. Was a PA announcer announced that. I couldn't quite make it out, but yeah, it was the challenge in Raskan, who would have been making that near post run as we saw him do against Tibbs on the opposite side, and the referee's going to come across and have a look at this, and that would suggest that not only will Rangers have an opportunity from the free kick, that they actually might have a chance from 12 yards if John Beaton agrees with Nick Walsh, who's recommending he comes across and has a look. Raskan, as I say, was probably looking to make the run near post, which is where the corner was aimed, and then he went down off the ball, and he claimed he was fouled, certainly, and John Beaton's going to get another look at it to determine whether he agrees with that judgment. So Livingston with an anxious wait, and Rangers fans.
Yeah, there's a tug of the jersey. He is pulling Raskin's jersey. There is a pull, there is a tug there, so it's up to John Beaton. It looks to me like a penalty.
And he's pointed to the spot. Livingston fans not happy, but John Beaton's had a look, and within a matter of minutes from taking the lead, James Tavernier is going to have another chance to add to his tally for the season, this time from the spot. Up against Jerome Prior here. 52 penalties he's scored in the Premiership before today. He notched his first just a few minutes ago with a fine finish, and here he is from 12 yards. Tavernier save! Great save! And it's collected once more by Jerome Prior. Terrific stop from the Livy goalkeeper, and Rangers denied a second. Tavernier sent it to the goalkeeper's right. Prior guessed correctly, and it's still Livingston 0, Rangers 1.
He's ever nearly dived past it, Al, to be honest with you. The ball's played, it struck. I think he's trying to find it down the middle. The keeper goes to his right, and his left arm comes up, and it's, I tell you what, it's a strong left arm, but no, that could have been...
Could be a chance yet. Oh, that's a dangerous challenge by Osgaard as Finlayson bravely goes into head clear, and he's taking a little bit of a sore one there, the fullback. I think he'll be fine, but it was a good bit of defending as Rangers tried to get the ball back into the box, but Tavernier's penalty well saved by Jerome Prior, and so that's a big opportunity. That's his 20th failure from the spot, having scored 71 in total. But he is the man who's given Rangers the advantage, but that would have given them a real cushion and just allowed them that little bit more confidence in the game to try and play the way that clearly Russell Martin wants them to. But here they come forward once more. They have had a lift from the goal, and it's Antman driving at Montgomery up to the edge of the box. Tavernier in support, and he tries to dink it across goal, and he gets it all wrong and sends it straight behind. And so it's still, after what, 29 minutes almost, Livingston 0, Rangers 1, but Livingston spending the last few minutes on the back foot.
Yeah, Rangers have been good the last 5-10 minutes, mainly down to Conor Barron. He's been the real driving force in the middle of the park, you know, snarling into tackles, then driving forward, like Stephen was saying, you know, driving forward with the ball, playing forward passes, and Rangers on the front foot and creating things. So, but you're right, what an opportunity that was from the penalty kick, because that just gives you that little bit of breathing space just to relax a little bit, but you know, just with that one goal lead, it can always be pegged back.
Here's Cornelius at the back for Rangers, clips it into the middle of the park. Tate's there first. Migoma gets his head to it, not convincingly though, and Stevie May will pick up, but he's robbed. And Cornelius then goes down under May's challenge, and it'll be a free kick to Rangers deep in their own half with half an hour almost on the clock. Rangers leading by a goal to 0. Tavernier, who then missed a penalty subsequently, as Gassama's now set free by another terrific John Suter diagonal. Now up against Finlayson, comes in field, good touch by Finlayson, only as far as Migoma, who can't find a teammate. It's Pittman who picks up in the middle of the park, back to Finlayson, he just lashes it forward. Suter will get there well before Stevie May, and he just rolls it back to his goalkeeper at the edge of his box. Jack Butland then, short to Cornelius, right to Suter, back with Butland once more. Rangers with the breakthrough here in Amon Vale is Raskan. That's a poor pass. Raskan's got so much more quality than that, but he couldn't find Antman in behind, and Livy have it through Montgomery. Montgomery 10 yards inside his own half, back to Wilson. Wilson just touches it back to Prior. He made that terrific save, guessing correctly, and with a good strong wrist to keep out the powerful effort from Tavernier. May goes down off the ball, Rangers pick up possession, no foul going to the referee as Raskan just slips it to his right on the halfway line to Tavernier. Antman back for Raskan. Antman again forward to Tavernier, who's got Suter behind him. Suter it is, back into Cornelius, midway inside his own half. Rangers looking for a first league victory this season in their 6th game, as Derek mentioned earlier on. It's their worst start to a domestic season since way back in the late 70s, as Osgaard now out to his left for Gassama. Gassama plays it forward once more. Osgaard on the left-hand side of the penalty, tracked by Silla, tries to lose him. Still it's Osgaard, now leaves it for Gassama once more, still left-hand side, back to Migoma, and now Raskan. Rangers going back the way again, but trying to just find a bit of space. Migoma gets it back to his left for Gassama, who helped create the opening goal with the the help of Antman as well for his captain James Tavernier. Cornelius into Tavernier, and now Suter out to the right hand side for Antman, who's got plenty of room. What will he do here up against Montgomery? Will he try and take him on the outside? No, he just knocks it back to Tavernier. And now Suter once more just inside the Livy half. Now it's Cornelius into Barron for Suter, and Tavernier in a bit of space here. Can he find Majowski with a cross? Cut out by Wilson and then helped on by Sissoko. Expected a better cross there from Tavernier as he looked for the striker. Good play there from Lewis Smith on the far side. Good challenge in turn by Magoma to knock it out of play. Livingston throwing over on the far side. 32.5 minutes play. Just on Antman again.
Too safe, foul.
Not to labour the point, but is that again a sign of a player who's not really got that much confidence, that he doesn't want to try and take him on the outside?
Well, I tell you what, some of the other players should be getting after him, because a number of times he's got a 1v1. Just get at the player, knock it past him, test his pace. You don't even need to beat the man, you just create half a yard and deliver. But he's got to be a hell of a lot more positive than what he is.
If you're a wide player, what's your job? You know, you're not an inverted wide player, you're an out-and-out wide player, you're on the touchline, you've got to go down the side, just knock the ball, run after, just change it, just do something different, rather than always taking the safety option. I have to say, Livingston have lost their way a little bit since the Rangers goal. The body language of Rangers has changed, the tempo of their play. They're now starting to find their way back into the game, edging towards half-time.
Yeah, and they've got a corner kick over on the right-hand side, which will be taken by Adam Montgomery, left-footed, so expect an in-swinger here. And it comes to the Rangers penalty area, back post ball. As Livy player dived in there, he's claiming he was caught on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's gone all the way behind for a goal kick, but there's a suggestion that as the Rangers defender tried to clear it, that he caught the Livingston player, who I can't quite see.
I think it's Mo Silla.
Is it Silla who's dived in there at the back post, and he's now writhing around holding his face there, and John Beaton's called on the Livingston physios. Difficult for us to tell at this distance exactly what took place, but certainly the way he's gone down, as if he was caught by the boot of the Rangers player.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Silla was trying to dive in for a header and was low to the ground, and I don't know if it was Tavernier or somebody was marking him, was trying to hook the ball on at the same time, so it would be a call for John Beaton to make, but because Mo Silla's head would be so low and the foot wasn't overly high, then I can imagine it would just be as it is. It doesn't look as if there's going to be any kind of VAR check.
It was Majowski, by all accounts, who was involved in trying to clear the ball, as you described, Stephen, just trying to help the ball on, hook it away as it came across the face of goal. But Silla certainly needing some attention here, and now gets back to his feet, holding his head still, but Stephen says certainly not hearing any words of a VAR check. Of course they will check the incident, because they check everything that happens in the penalty area, but no serious sustained check certainly that's going to lead to a Livingston penalty by the looks of it.
I'll get back to Antman, but we're just talking about, Stephen's talking about it as well. That's what that frustrates me when I look at the reaction of the other players round about him. They should be encouraging him to get there. You know, the space is there, we can see it. You're saying maybe it's a lack of confidence. I don't think it should be. In 1v1, just knock it down the line and deliver.
Is there any chance that he's been asked by the manager to play the way he's played, to constantly come back in field rather? I mean, that as unlikely as that sounds, I can't think why else he wouldn't just at least try it, as Stephen says, once in a while.
Yeah, it could be. We're not privy to that, obvious, but it looks like it from here. But it's glaringly obvious when he gets the ball 1v1. You know, he's actually got a run at Montgomery, so be a little bit more positive.
Here they come on the left-hand side, Rangers. It's Gassama picking up, almost at the byline, up against Finlayson, who's got back with him. Gassama rolls it back. It's Barron who takes a shot. Oh, brilliant save by Jerome Prior. It took a little deflection, I'm sure, on its way through from the edge of the box. Prior had to react late, and he got down and he grabbed it with his left hand right on the line to deny Rangers a second goal. Livingston 0, Rangers 1.
I tell you what, that's a stunning save, because he sees it so late, yet his hand gets down, it's so strong. But I'll take it back to the Rangers build-up. I think there was 7 or 8 passes, one-touch movement, really slick play to get in behind. And again, it's a simple ball over the top, and Gassama with that pace. Great pick out, I've got to say, Conor Barron, who's really thrived in this game. He probably thought he had scored, but Prior, what an incredible save.
Still 1-0 then as half-time approaches to the visitors. Connor Barron, not a renowned goal scorer, but certainly got that one on target. It did seem to me like it took a nick on its way through, but Prior reacted brilliantly, and he just stuck out that left hand and grabbed it on the goal line to prevent it crossing. As Livingston come forward now down the left-hand side, Andy Winter, who we've not seen too much of, beaten to it by Suter. Suter just knocks that out of play in the end. Livy throw in down deep in the Rangers half on the left-hand side. Taken back to Tate and now Wilson. Tate once more. Plays it back into Silla, who's recovered from the head knock. Out to the right-hand side, where Lewis Smith's been a bit livelier than his counterpart on this flank, Andy Winter. Now it's Pittman. Silla on the halfway line into Sissoko, back the way to Danny Wilson, and now Sissoko out to this left-hand side for Montgomery. Raskin comes and closes him down and forces him to lose concentration, and it's out for a throw-in, which is already taken by Rangers. Barron being forced back the way by Sissoko. Gets it to Suter. Tavernier infield to Cornelius. Touch to Barron. Better play from Rangers. Now it's Magoma left-hand side, who's able to drive forward in a bit of space. Smith trying to get back with him. Out to Gassama, who's been a good outlet for the most part again this afternoon. He plays it back in field to Barron, who's having a good game as well for Rangers. Played well, was it Celtic? He came in and he played pretty well, and then he started the next game against Hearts and wasn't so effective. Here is Antman, does go on the outside for a moment, gets the cross in, but it's a poor one. It's straight into the gloves of Jerome Prior, and with just about 6.5 minutes left of the 45, it's Livingston 0, Rangers 1.
You're absolutely spot on about Barron. He's been the real driving force in that midfield of Rangers. Raskin just a little bit more advanced, but Barron coming short, linking the play, but also driving forward with the ball. And there you see he's into a couple of challenges to win it.
Here's Oscar driving forward, 25 yards from goal. Can he find room for the shot? Closed down by Danny Wilson brilliantly. Gets the block in, and it's away to safety. And Winter and Tavernier jostle it out here, but there's a problem here for Sissoko, who stayed down in a previous incident, and he might require a bit of attention. He's been checked upon by John Beaton for the moment, but again, Osgard just a little bit ponderous, a little bit hesitant there when the chance seemed to be on to either shoot or try and find a teammate, and allowed Wilson to make what turned out to be a good block, certainly. But yeah, Osgard, with the money that was paid for him, they are expecting maybe a little bit more from him than we've seen so far in a Rangers jersey.
Yeah, he's got to find his form, hasn't he? You look at the midfield three today. Raskin's been lively. Connor Barron we've been praising up to the hilt. Osgard is still the one who's drifting about, don't know his position, not sure what his strengths are. Does he have pace? Does he have a goal? He just has to put it all together.
Here he is, left-hand side, closed down by Sissoko. Plays it back away to Magoma, and then back in field to Barron, who's on the edge of his own area. He plays it square to Suter, who's fired a couple of good balls out to Gassama. This one goes into Majowski. It's better football from Rangers. A little 1-2 there between Barron and Majowski. Now it's Antman driving in field once more. He lays it to Gassama. Gassama inside the box, onto the right foot, goes for goal, blocked by Danny Wilson again. Comes to Majowski, lays it back for Tavernier. He rolls it into the path of Raskin, who goes for goal, and it takes a big deflection of Sissoko and goes wide for a Rangers corner. But evidence there, and we've seen precious little of it this season, but evidence there, Derek, of some nice football, well worked by Rangers in the midfield, and then it opens up for the attack.
Yeah, because it's Connor Barron again. We keep mentioning him, but he's a real driving force. A little give and go. It's forward passes. It's positive. It's quick. It's more direct, and you're having a better outcome. They just certainly need to get that second goal.
Tavernier with the corner right hand side, then outswinger once more. Majowski's in there. Oh, another terrific save from Prior. I think it might have been Suter who made the connection as he came in at the back post from pretty close range, and again Prior's reactions were superb as down goes Antman on the far side and wins his side a free kick just a few yards in from the left touchline, about 25 yards from the byline. But well, Jerome Prior almost single-handedly keeping Livingston in this contest at the moment.
He certainly is. It's a lovely outswinging corner kick. John Suter, I think you said, gets the contact, and Prior again. It's so late, but his reactions are absolutely top class. He keeps the ball out of the net and then has the reaction to go and punch it. Majowski was close round about him, but Livingston will not want to concede a second goal before half-time, and the game could be away.
Yeah, Tavernier over this free kick on the left-hand side then. Rangers with everyone forward for this one. Curls it in towards the 6-yard box. It's won by a Rangers head, but over to this near side. Wilson just hoists that onto the roof of the stand above us. And Livingston survive for the moment. But yeah, you do feel, well, Rangers really pressing for that second goal before half-time, and if they were to get it, the game might be beyond Livy. As Tavernier picks up on this right-hand side now, advanced position, he's hauled to the ground there by Pittman. The fans round about us howl after that decision is given in Rangers' favour, but it was the most obvious free kick you'll see all weekend, as Pittman went right through the back of Tavernier, and he's got another chance here from a couple of yards in, this time from the right touch line, and just about 20 yards from the byline to deliver once again the Rangers captain, who's got the only goal of the game so far and had a penalty saved. And here he is over this free kick as Rangers look for a second goal before the interval. And it comes, Raskan's header, must be goal! It's Cornelius at the back post. Well, there's claims for handball in there. I think also questions about whether there was an offside, but Cornelius and Rangers celebrate for the moment. The officials certainly haven't chalked it off. There will be a check by VAR, but it fell kindly for Cornelius at the back post after Raskan's initial header. And it's Livingston 0, Rangers 2.
Yeah, you could say it's a poor header from Raskin. I thought it was a good opportunity. He doesn't quite get the connection he wanted, but it falls to Cornelius, and from where we are, he did look offside. But I'm just trying to look at one of the little monitors away to my right-hand side. I get a little.
But it's an instant crossover sometimes. You know, when by the time Cornelius touches the ball, he looks offside. But that crossover when Raskan initially makes a contact, I mean, he starts in an onside position. He comes in later. It's a lovely ball in once again from Tavernier. It'll be interesting to see if it stands or not. It would be a disastrous time to concede a goal for Livingston, and the perfect time for Rangers if it does stand at 2-0.
Well, it's been checked, as every goal is, by VAR. It sounds like it is the handball that is being checked for, potential handball by the goal scorer Derek Cornelius. And remember that any handball, accidental or otherwise, by a goal scorer will inevitably lead to the goal being chopped off. So John Beaton awaiting the decision here from Nick Walsh, and he's going to check it. In fact, he's just given a free kick. It's a factual overturn, so Nick Walsh has given him the message that there was a handball used by Derek Cornelius, and therefore the goal has to be chopped off. And so we're back to Livingston 0, Rangers 1.
And it's that strange law, Alistair, where if Cornelius handballs it and Conor Barron scores, it stands, whereas if he handballs it and he scores himself, it's disallowed. So it's a little quirky law.
So Rangers certainly would have been good value for that 2-goal lead, but they don't have it. They've had a penalty save, now they've had a goal chopped off deep in this first period, but they've certainly been much improved. The goal has given them a huge lift, and even the penalty that was saved, it hasn't really knocked their confidence, and I imagine their fans are much happier with what they're seeing out there on the park this afternoon. They have it at the back with John Souttar, plays it to Migoma just at the edge of his own penalty area, out to Osgar, and he moves away from Pittman, knocks it back to Jack Butland inside his 6-yard box, just launches it long looking for Gassama, but he's not going to chase that, and he's never going to get it even if he did, as Prior comes out of his box and knocks it to Wilson. We're into stoppage time. I didn't actually notice how much was going to be added on, but Livingston have it at the back through Silla, plays it back to Prior, and immediately out to Danny Wilson. 4 minutes added on, I gather, as Wilson slices that out of play. It's a poor ball forward from Wilson, who's usually good with these longer balls forward, but not on that occasion. It's a Rangers throw midway inside their own half to be taken by the captain James Tavernier, and goal scorer and penalty misser, if I can put it that way, as Souttar plays it back to Butland. Closed down there by May. It's not a great pass from Butland, to say the least, and it's picked up by Smith right hand side. Closely watched by Magoma. Tries to get the ball in, but it'll just trundle into the arms of Butland. No, it won't. It'll be a corner. Didn't realise it had gone out of play before Butland gathered it. So Livy will have a corner, and it's all because of the slack pass in the first instance from the goalkeeper, which the guys have mentioned on a couple of occasions already, that his distribution's not been great, and that was another example of it. And Adam Montgomery will go across to that far side, the Livy right, to put in the corner in the 3rd minute of injury time here at Amon Vale. And Livingston, for all that they have been second best, certainly since Rangers scored, they could find themselves an equaliser here as Smith goes and offers himself short, and that's used because Rangers have only got one man out there, and it's Gassama. Smith tries to get by him. Gassama sticking to his task. He's done well, to be fair, the Rangers winger, and he's emerged with possession, and you just knock it forward and ask Raskan to go and chase that. He'll be beaten to it by Montgomery, who just plays it back to the goalkeeper. It falls in the process, but it's safely back with Prior, and now Sissoko for Finlayson, midway inside his own half right-hand side. Rangers leading by a 1-0. Just over a minute of stoppage time left to play as Prior, who's made 2 or 3 terrific saves, including the penalty from Tavernier, to keep Rangers within distance, you would have to say. Just the 1 goal in front as Cornelius just bars to the ground on the halfway line, and Rangers get the free kick.
Wasn't that a crazy decision? Livingston have a corner almost on half-time and they take it short. Surely you put it into the box and try and nick something before half-time, so whoever's a set-piece specialist on the bench will be furious.
Cornelius with a big switch of play out to Antman, takes it down in his chest 10 yards inside the Livy half. Back in field to Raskan, then to Tavernier. Suter now. Suter on the halfway line, gets it back from Majowski, and then square to Cornelius, closed down by May. Tavernier's gone into that inverted full-back position for a moment as Suter gets out to Antman, right hand side, back in field and backwards once more to Barron. Suter now square for Cornelius. Rangers just knocking the ball about in these final few seconds of the first half, which comes to a close with the whistle of John Beaton, and Rangers take a deserved advantage in at half-time. And in all honesty, it could have been more. Livingston started probably the better of the two sides. Stevie May denied early on by Jack Butland from a tight angle, and then Bojan Majowski after 13 minutes sent the ball over the top after a lovely little bit of play from Nico Raskin, sent him in on goal, but he couldn't finish. But then Rangers did get the opener just beyond the midway point of this first half as Gassama on the left-hand side sent a deep ball to the back post where Antman knocked it back across goal, and there was James Tavernier with a little hitch kick to send it into the roof of the net for the first goal of the game. And just moments later, they really should have had a second as Raskan was adjudged to have been fouled from a corner kick after a VAR review, but Tavernier, looking for his second goal of the afternoon, was denied by a good save from Prior to keep the scoreline at 1-0. Barrett had an effort from the edge of the box, really well saved by the Livy keeper, and then Suter, I think it was, at the back post with a volley from a Tavernier corner, also really good stop from Prior. Prior could do nothing as another Tavernier free kick was nodded down by Raskin, fell rather fortuitously to Cornelius, who knocked it into the back of the net, but he was adjudged by VAR to have handballed it, and so the goal was chalked off, which means at half-time at Amon Vale, it's Livingston 0, Rangers 1.
Livingston versus Rangers.
Oh, he's hit the crossbar, it's a goal!
The Scottish Premiership.
Live on Sportsound.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
Saturday morning, such a special time.
It's great to be back on the radio with you.
I'm Amy Irons.
And I'm Stephen Mill.
Join us for the Saturday show. 3 hours of chat, guests, music, all the big stories of the week and sport.
If there's something happening in Scotland on a Saturday morning, we want to know about it. We want to be speaking about it.
And put a bit of a smile on your face. The Saturday show at 9 a.m. Listen on BBC Radio Scotland and on Sounds.
You're listening to Sportsound with me, Richard Gordon. The one final Premiership encounter of the weekend is midway through at Amon Vale, and it's Rangers who have dominated for the most part, who have the advantage, thanks to their captain, James Tavernier, who scored his 87th Premiership goal for the club. Remember, second in the all-time Premiership rankings, SPFL Premiership rankings, behind Lee Griffiths, who got 92. He's now 9 clear of Alfredo Morelos, who's in third. Lawrence Shankland, of course, been making the headlines. He is in fourth spot, all told, with 68. So he may be the main threat to Tavernier as he looks to hunt down Griffiths. He's got one. He could have had another, clearly, having failed from the penalty spot. But it is Rangers who have the advantage. In the SWPL, big wins this afternoon for Celtic, 4-0 at Montrose, for Hearts 5-0 at Partick Thistle, and in the end for Hibernian 5-0 away to Hamilton. Getting underway at 4 is Motherwell against Aberdeen, and at 4:10 live on BBC Alapa, Rangers against Glasgow City. SWPL highlights on the telly tomorrow night at 7:30. The Premiership highlights are on Sports Scene tonight at 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. And in the week ahead, in terms of the live football on the radio, Thursday nights, don't go anywhere else, because it's going to be an absolute feast of Europa League action from 5 until 11 o'clock at night. Celtic against Braga kicks off at 5:45, followed by Sturm Graz Rangers and Aberdeen against Shakhtar Donetsk. Both those games kicking off at 8 o'clock. Livy, a couple of opportunities early on. Since then, Stephen Craig, and this has been all about Rangers, hasn't it?
It has, and we said it would be all about how Livy started the game. They'd have been looking for that early goal just to try and see if there was any hesitancy in the Rangers back line, if there was any weaknesses. They were getting a little bit of success over the head of McHoma. Cornelius was having to get across a couple of times. Stevie May was doing all his work in there. Lewis Smith started really brightly, pushed and he probed, but eventually Rangers settled. And I think since the goal, Richard, it's probably been the best, or probably the most complete 45 minutes of Rangers league season so far. Their build-up play's been good. Now Russell Martin's been harping on about it and telling us how good it's been in training, and he knows it's going to come, and he's convinced the players will come through. I have to say, some of their one-touch passing, their awareness, their vision, their runs has been so much better. It's easy to sit and give criticism, but I think when we see something good, we have to praise it and we have to talk about it. But Connor Barron has been excellent.
Yep.
Raskan's been very good. Gassama's been excellent on the left-hand side. Osgaard has drifted into the game and out of the game. Ant-Man has had little spells here and there, but Rangers have been utterly dominant since he got that first goal. They will just be disappointed they haven't managed to add to it. Clearly, Prior in the goal has kept Rangers out with 2 fantastic saves, as well as the penalty kick save was an excellent save too. But Russell Martin will be delighted with that first half performance. Everything he's wanted about his team, everything he spoke about with regards how he sees his team playing, has came alive and has all been connected in that first half. But they've still got work to do, and they'll want to go and kill it off in the second half.
Derek, you must be pleased with much of what you've seen from your old team?
Yeah, certainly in the middle of the park. Young Connor Barron, he's been excellent, snapping into challenges, driving forward with the ball, forward passes. Raskin playing a little bit more advanced. It was a wonderful flick kind of pass for that Miowski chance early on in the game, which he should have put away, I've got to say. But once they got their noses in front, yeah, they look pretty comfortable controlling the ball. Yeah, you can pick the bones out in terms of you'd look for a little bit more forward passes from maybe Cornelius and Suter. Suter has played a couple of wonderful 60-70 yard balls, but I think there is the space in behind, and you know, it doesn't have to be precise. Sometimes, you know, just hit the ball into those spaces in behind, get that Livingston side turning towards their own goal, and you know, push up the park. But yeah, for large parts they've been pretty comfortable. The thing is, it's still 1-0. You know, the penalty, you could say good penalty or bad penalty, but yeah, and you could say it's a terrific save from the goalkeeper. So they've had opportunities to get that second. Obviously, Cornelius did come off his forearm, just got a little bit of the footage. But yeah, I've seen a Rangers side come here and be put under a little bit more pressure from a Livingston side, but they've stood up to that very well. But the standout's been Connor Barron.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. I mean, right from the start, you could see he had that energy, that drive that I haven't seen an awful lot from certain Rangers performances so far this season. I was interested in the goal that was disallowed. You've had the chance to see I mean, I've watched replays and I still can't quite see whether it actually hits, because his arm, so it's his right arm, it's tucked in almost behind. He's trying to tuck it away in behind his body. The replay I've seen, I can't quite see whether it actually hits his arm or whether it hits his body.
I just thought it's just maybe come off the kind of the forearm, just around about the elbow,
Right.
kind of. It just comes out. Listen, Richard, there's not much in it, but you know when they're scrutinised, when they're looked at, you know, you can see that it's going to be disallowed. But I thought Raskin should have done better with the header. He doesn't get the best of connections, but it does fall to Cornelius. I thought initially he looked a little bit onside, but it looked as if he was onside, but just come off his arm. But I think Rangers, if they could just get that little bit of breathing space, get a second, you know, then they could, you know, really go on and enjoy the game. But at the moment, they've still got a little bit of work to do.
I've got to say, it was a decent finish in the end by the big central defender. Certainly a decent finish, more than a decent finish from James Tavernier when he put Rangers in front in the 23rd minute. He had the chance from the spot just 4 minutes later to make it 2-0, and that would have given Rangers the breathing space. I had a quick look back, Stephen. So since Rangers returned to the top flight, that was in season 16-17, James Tavernier, across all competitions, James Tavernier has now taken 89 penalties for Rangers. He's missed 18 of them, so he's essentially missing 1 in 5 of his penalties. I mean, some of the seasons, the first, 17-18, he took 4, he scored them all. In the main, he's getting 10, 12, 14 penalties, 16 penalties a season. He's missing 2 or 3. The big one was season 23-24. He personally took 20 penalties for Rangers.
That's mad.
And missed 5 of them.
I mean,
he missed 5 out of 20.
20 penalties across a season.
Yeah.
I mean, some clubs don't get that over 4 seasons, never mind 1 season.
They actually had 21 penalties that season because Cyril Dessos took 1. But yeah, look, he gets a lot of opportunities, and obviously he scored. I just said he's the second highest scorer in Premiership history behind Lee Griffiths. He contributes so much, but I mean, this has come up so many times in the discussions over the years. I mean, should he still be the go-to from Rangers' point of view when it comes to penalties?
The thing is, Richard, there's been so many managerial changes that it's a different manager, and he's the captain and he's the one taking it, and maybe they're not looking at previous penalty kicks. They're only in for a year. He maybe scores 12 penalties and then he moves on and a new guy comes in. He's missed a couple, but it doesn't matter. It's a new manager. I'm taking the penalties again. So I'm not too sure how it works out, but it's a phenomenal record. And he almost as if he is flavour of the month again. Because at the start of the season, everybody wanted Max Aarons in. They wanted a new right back. Max Aarons had a bit of a nightmare start. Tavernier's left out and the fans weren't happy. They wanted him back in the team again. So he settled back in. He's doing okay. His finish is terrific, isn't it? You know, when the ball comes crossed from Gassama, Antman keeps it alive. The acrobatic overhead kick was absolutely terrific and puts it into the roof of the net. But it's the basics in the first half that Rangers have done well. Too often we've spoke about negative passes and the ball come back to the goalkeeper, square passes, possession without a purpose. Rangers have had much more of a purpose in their possession today. Simple things. I said it during the first half. If you run forward and pass it forward, it sounds really basic and really simple, but if you run forward and pass it forward, you've got a chance of making something happen. And that's exactly what's happened. Gassama's ran forward and they passed the ball forward to him. Connor Barnes passed the ball wide and ran forward and got the second ball. Tavernier has went round Antman on the right hand side. Antman ran inside and ran forward. So it's the basics of football. If you do that, if you're predictable and you're programmed and you're robotic and you stand in the middle of the pitch and you get it, you pass it square, you pass it negative, nothing happens. You have to go and make it happen for yourself. And it's as if today Russell Martin has taken the shackles off his players a little bit and said, yes, we want to retain possession, but we need to have an end product. We need to have a clinical edge, something cutting at the top end of the pitch. And they've had it, and they've looked a much better team.
Richard, see on Tavernier, we all thought when Aarons was coming in, we thought it was going to be an upgrade in James Tavernier, and clearly it's not. So that's why I had to go back to James Tavernier. But the one thing, you know, we all know he's had his criticism over the years in terms of defensively, he's found wanting at times, but the one thing, his deliveries, they're always bang on the money. And there again, you see a fullback, the ball comes over from Gassama, you know, Antman's on the touchline, and who's in the 6-yard box? It's James Tavernier. So he's it's good that he's allowed, and that's maybe Stephen's just touching on it. The shackles are off. There's a little bit more freedom in the Rangers play that's allowing Tavernier to get into those positions, because when he's in and around the box, we all know he's a terrific striker of the ball, but it's a wonderful goal, overhead kick, but you always just wonder why he's a full back in there, but that's James Tavernier.
Yeah, he's just played such an important part for Rangers for such a long period of time now. Can Livingston find a way back into it? I thought the players would be coming out just quite this soon, but it was just quickly they're on, Livy.
No,
It was
so I
a
think that's
positive start.
Sorry, Richard, there's some young
Burnley.
people on the pitch, some young kids, so they're just getting the plotter off the pitch. The players aren't back yet.
Good. I thought we'd gone back to the old days of a 10-minute. Yeah, I mean that's even before your play career, Stephen.
It was, yes, Richard.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks. Livy, really positive starts. Fell out of it and have been, dominated really by Rangers since then. How does David Martindale find a way back into this?
I think he may have to look to his bench the longer it goes. We spoke about Robin Muirhead potentially bringing a little bit of a threat. Bukila at the top end of the pitch, Teddy Yenge as well. So he's got options. The message will have been, or probably his thinking coming towards half-time, stay in the fight. And that will be the message at half-time if he doesn't make any changes. Stay in the fight for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Don't allow the game to get away from us. Run yourself. If you're out of energy, we'll take you off and we'll bring on fresh legs. But there was enough encouragement, I think, in the opening 15, 20 minutes for them to think that if they can put a wee bit more pressure on, then they can get the goal. But they don't want to allow Rangers to start enjoying the game, settling into the game the way they did in the last 20-25 minutes of the first half where they were in complete control. They have to try and break up the rhythm. They've got to try and make the game a bit more stop-start, try and put them out of sync a little bit more, because if they're enjoying themselves and they're knocking the ball around and they're getting the freedom to do that, they're going to be very difficult to stop. But the longer it goes at 1-0, that's when the nerves and the edginess may kick in for Rangers and Livingston can try and capitalise.
Derek, do you see a way back in for the home side?
Yeah, they've got to stop Connor Barron at the moment. They've got to get somebody, because he's dictating play. He's picking up everything just in front of the back four. He's running forward, he's passing forward. He's a real influence on the game. So that's what you look at, and that's why sometimes I think it shouldn't actually come from the bench. The players should identify that. Somebody should be on Barron, sit on him for 5-10 minutes, don't let him breathe, but he's got the run of the show out there and he's enjoying himself. So I think that's what David Martindale, he'll speak about that at half time and say somebody has to be in and around him, stop him playing. So and I think once you get into the latter stages, you've got Muirhead, you've got Yenge, then you can go a little bit more direct, put balls into the box and see if you can upset Rangers.
It will be interesting to see if indeed Livingston do try to shake things up as they battle to try to get back into this one. The only positive for David Martindale, I'm sure, is that it is just 1-0. It was James Tavernier who put Rangers in front with his 4th goal of the season. Extended highlights on Sports Scene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel, along with the best of the action from the 5 games that took place yesterday. 45 minutes of action to go. Let's get it live here on Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland with Derek Ferguson, Stephen Craigan and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Rich. No changes at the interval for either side. So Livingston about to kick us off. They'll go from left to right as we look at it from the back of the main stand here at Ammon Vale. Sunshine still bathing most of the pitch as Macaulay Tate rolls it back to Danny Wilson, who angles it out to this near side looking for Finlayson, who goes up there with Magoma, and that was a real clattering Magoma took. The head knock, and he's holding his face there.
That was dangerous play. That was really, it was out of control, and I tell you what, he takes an absolute sore one, that. I think that was a bit reckless, to be honest with you.
I think reckless is the yellow card, Al, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was serious foul play.
Yeah.
Would be a strong elbow, would be something that puts you in the fence. I mean, John Beaton, you could see through his mic, was talking to his near side assistant, just a little bit of communication, which is what they're encouraged to do as a refereeing team.
Well, it was right in front of the assistant, and obviously VAR have the ability to go and look at it. Magoma's down there, and he's ultimately, Finlayson's got his eyes on the ball, and he's just going up to contest that. It's such a difficult one to judge, particularly without being able to see it back, but certainly Magoma's come off second best, and John Beaton's initial reading of it is that it was worthy of a yellow card there for Danny Finlayson. But clearly it was what Livingston were trying to do, was angle the ball out for Finlayson, who's probably got the beating of Magoma in the air to try and get a flick on and start an early attack. But Magoma is really struggling down there.
He wasn't going to win the ball, Al. So
no.
that's why he's picked up the booking. So he clearly wasn't going to win the ball.
Finlayson was never going to win that.
Wasn't going to win the ball, no. And he's been reckless, and he's studied him. Okay. If that's what if you look at even tackles and somebody just goes for it and they lunge in, you know, more often than not players get sent off, but I thought that was pretty dangerous, to be honest with you.
Well, Magoma fortunately is back up, and hopefully the head knock was nothing too serious, because we know that it's an element of the game which football is learning, cannot be taken lightly, but he's back on his feet and playing. The problem for Rangers is, apart from anything else, as the ball's played forward into the Rangers penalty area but gathered by Butland, they don't have a natural left back to replace Magoma. They've got Aarons on the bench, who's played there at the start of the season before Magoma was signed, but I think we found out pretty quickly that he's not a left back. So Magoma's really the only player who can play in that position naturally, at least, as Livingston pick up possession in the middle of the park, and it's Tate back to Silla out to the right hand side to Finlayson, who was yellow carded for that foul on Magoma. The aerial battle headed away by Suter, poor control by Raskan, and returned into the Rangers defensive third by Silla. Pittman claims that took a touch off Cornelius, but it didn't seem to, and it's going to be a goal kick to Rangers at the start of this second half, 3 minutes in, and still 1-0 Rangers. Could have, perhaps should have scored more in that first period, and Livingston will hope they can make them pay for that at some stage in the second period, as Cornelius plays it short to Magoma, who's closed down by Smith, and they'll be out for a Rangers throw-in off Smith.
The Rangers are putting themselves under pressure. It's the start of the second half. You've got to expect that Livingston are going to push up the pitch a little bit. They've had a 15-minute break. They've got their breath back again. Their fitness is fresh. Rangers are playing square balls again, trying to draw Livingston onto them. Don't be frightened to go over the top and change the direction of the game just for 5 minutes.
Pittman runs into Macaulay Tate, and that allows Raskan to pick up, and now it's Yasama into Asgar, who's quickly closed down by Pittman. Gives it back to Cornelius. Magoma tries to play it back to Butland. It comes off Cornelius, and Rangers are fortunate there that didn't end up in a problematic situation, but Magoma's just run it out of play. Just looks a little bit dazed, perhaps, as a result of that head knock he took a few moments ago. As Finlayson prepares to take the throw in, just about 10 yards inside the Rangers half. Down the right it goes, flicked on well by May. Pittman just tries to send it through for Andy Winter, but there's no way he's catching that, and again it's behind for a Rangers goal kick. But certainly Rangers haven't got going in this second period. Livingston spending more time in the Rangers half than vice versa, as Cornelius again is closed down from the goal kick. Asgard trying to drop the shoulder to get away from Sissoko, does so well and plays it down the line for Gassama. He's offside though, and it will be a Livingston free kick.
Not a lot of options when they take that short by kick. You know, they just roll it, you know, and you're only, 10, 15 yards from goal. There is nobody showing. Ashgard was maybe the one that just showed there, but there's not a lot of options on there. And
Stevie May is in behind here. John Suter trying to get back. Oh, he nudges him to the ground, and he touches it back to Jack Butland. The offside flag is up, but I'm fairly sure John Beaton had already dismissed that as a penalty claim as well, although VAR would have had an interest in it. But the offside flag goes up to prevail in any case. Stevie May looked borderline certainly, but Rangers, well, they looked vulnerable to that ball over the top, and it was well, it was questionable certainly, the decision in terms of the John Suter challenge on Stevie May.
It's just if you get a little bit lazy, Rangers, just when the ball's up the pitch, they end up standing ball watching, Al, and suddenly one long pass can put you in a little bit of trouble. And that's what Livingston have started in the second half. They're not taking a touch of midfield, they're just throwing it around the corner. They're just trying to get Rangers on the back foot to see if they can draw a mistake from them.
Suter back to Butland. It was a difficult one to take, and he deals with it pretty well on that occasion. The keeper just gets it up to the halfway line and clear. I'm hearing actually that Stevie May wasn't offside despite the flag going up against him, so
does that mean if they thought it had been a penalty, if VAR thought it was a penalty kick, they could have brought it back and given the penalty kick?
Yeah,
because the decision was wrong for it to be offside?
I think so. As Raskan now out to the right hand side, finds Antman into the penalty area. Barron wants it, but he fires it into the box instead, and it's only in the arms in the end of Jerome Prior after Osgaard could only divert it high in the air, and that Rangers attack comes to nothing. But yeah, to go back to your point, Stephen, I think that probably is the case if VAR had decided that there was a case to be answered in terms of the challenge by John Souttar on Stevie May, that the offside would have been overruled. But John Beaton seemed to me on the field of play to kind of wave that claim away, and VAR Nick Walsh obviously deciding that there wasn't enough in it to suggest an on-field review. So still 1-0 Rangers as Raskin runs into trouble in the middle of the park and gives possession away to Lewis Smith. Sissoko out to the right-hand side to Finlayson. And a bit of encouragement for Livy at the start of this second period, but Macaulay Tate just runs the ball out of play. We've played 52 minutes, 1-0 Rangers at Almond Vale. It's a ground that they've had a lot of joy at in recent times. They've won 9 of their last 10 visits here, drawing the other one since that 2018 victory, which came on the 30th of September in 2018. So almost exactly 7 years ago, as Souttar picks up from Butland just inside his own half, tries to switch the play again for Gassama. It's just going to hold up in the artificial turf, and that allows Finlayson to make the interception. Otherwise, on any other surface, that might have just skipped through to Gassama. Rangers get the throw in. Cornelius forward to Asgard, who tries to spin away from Sissoko, who's been held there. But play continues, Rangers still in possession. Barron on to Souttar. Souttar misplaces that pass for Antman, and Montgomery just lets it run out of play over on the far side for a Livy throw-in. 53 on the clock. Livingston 0, Rangers 1.
Yeah, that ball from Souttar he just played earlier, I think that's on all the time, you know. Even if you overhit it, you know, it goes out for a throw-in, you get your team high up the park, you know, and you can start to put a little bit of pressure on. But it's been a little bit one pace for me in this second half from both sides. I know Livingston, you know, they're trying to get the ball forward, but just I think they'll maybe need to go to the bench. I think they need to change it up a little bit.
Smith being forced back the way by Magoma, and he's fouled him. Russell Martin looks to the skies, I presume because he thought it was a rash decision from Magoma to come in at the back when he had Smith going back towards his own goal. So free kick to Livy, just in front of Russell Martin's technical area there, the dugout, midway inside the Livy half, to be taken by Mo Silla, being used as an auxiliary centre half this afternoon. Plays it forward, it's returned by Cornelius, then likewise Livy get it forward once more, then Antman beaten to it by Montgomery, catches the fullback, and Livy get the free kick on the halfway line. 1-0 Rangers with almost 10 minutes of the second half played.
And I think this is where the frustration will kick in for Russell Martin and possibly for the Rangers fans, because we were praising their first half performance on how dominant they were and how slick they were, and they've come out the second half and they went back into their old ways of taking too many touches, giving the ball away needlessly.
Here's Finlayson in a good position, right hand side, deep cross, looks like there's too much on it. I don't think Winter will catch that. Finlayson got himself really well forward there, but the final ball from the fullback wasn't up to scratch, and it's out for a throw-in over on the far side to Rangers. Antman picks up from Tavernier, back to Souttar. He just clips it forward, looking for Raskin, who again gets a good leap to win the header. Falls though for Wilson on the halfway line. Danny Wilson, the Livy skipper, clips that one forward. Souttar goes across. Pittman almost nips it in front of him, and it's just bounced off a Livingston player and gone behind for a Rangers goal kick.
The slight worry is that the Rangers players at the moment, probably it looks like it's job done. It's far from done. You know, they really need to get that second, and I just think they're playing within themselves. As Stephen quite rightly has pointed out, into the second half, so they need to have that killer instinct. You know, they need to keep going at full pelt. You know, and if they don't, you know, they could come undone.
Certainly possible, as Magoma gets himself a free kick on the left-hand side. Raskin now for Cornelius, back to Butland. Stevie May continuing to try and close Rangers down, but he's ploughing a lone furrow there at the moment. Lewis Smith now coming to try and help him. Back with Butland it goes. Butland right into the middle of the park. Tavernier gets there before a couple of Livingston players, and then clips out to this left-hand side for Gassama. Gassama almost at the byline. Back goes Finlayson with him. Gassama skips back inside him, then touches it back to Tavernier, who's in the left side of the penalty area momentarily. His attempted cross is blocked, and out for a throw-in on this near side. Rangers well advanced down that left flank.
And And that's a little tweaks, isn't it? A little bit more freedom. Tavernier, you know, he's allowed. It looks as if the manager is allowing him just to roam a little bit, you know, and get into forward areas and start to link the play, which is quite refreshing.
Rangers throw in then about 10 yards from the corner flag. Magoma into Raskin at the edge of the box on the left-hand side, back to Asgar, and now Barron back the way to Cornelius. Asgard just manages to keep that in play. Again tries to spin away from Sissoko. It's all a little bit untidy there in front of the Rangers dugout. Rangers though still in possession, and it's Cornelius forward for Gassama. Is he taken down there by Finlayson, who's got to be careful. It's a free kick in Rangers' favour, and I don't think Finlayson, I mean, I'm not saying that merited a yellow card, but I don't think he'll get away with too many more of them in that position up against Gassama.
I don't think it's a yellow card, but I think that's his last one.
Yeah.
And I imagine John Beaton will say to him, no more. So I could see maybe Martindale having a chat with his coaching staff. You have to make a decision, because the last thing you want to be doing when you're only trailing by a goal and you're still in the game is to go down to 10 players.
Tavernier then standing over the free kick from the left-hand side. It's midway inside the Livy half, a couple of yards in from the touchline. Swings it in towards the back post. That should be Priors. He punches it. He could have collected it, but I think he's making the point that the sun was in his eyes there, so not taking any chances, but he got good distance on it. That looked like a foul throw-in, but not given. Barron, right-hand side, tries to send it into the Livy box, takes a ricochet off a Livingston player and out for a throw-in over on the far side to Rangers. Just in terms of potential changes for Livy, other than the attacking ones the guys have discussed, they've got Junior Robinson, who's on loan from West Ham, who I think is a right full-back, so he would be maybe the natural change for Danny Finlayson if David Martindale thinks that's the wise thing to do. It's picked up by Barron, right-hand side, and he's one inside a throw in deep in Livingston territory, just about 5 or 6 yards away from the corner flag. James Tavernier, as we've learned in recent times, does have a good long throw on him. Barely used it in his whole 10 and a bit years at Rangers until pretty sure it was when Barry Ferguson and Billy Dodds and Neil McCann went in, and all of a sudden he started using this long throw, and here we see it into the near post area. It's headed half away by Montgomery, returned to the edge of the area. Silla gets it further clear. Antman tries to keep it alive, on by Osgar. Cornelius takes a decent touch, but poked away from him. Raskan picks up edge of the box. Susuho sticks the boot in and plays it out to the far side. Antman trying to keep it alive for Rangers down at the corner flag. Spins away from Montgomery, but help provided there by, I think it was Winter, who's all the way back there, and he just knocks it down the park and out for another throw-in to Rangers, this time though on the halfway line. We've played almost an hour at Almond Vale, and it's still Livingston 0, Rangers 1. Rangers certainly the better side, but by no means out of sight here, as Barron has it. Good ball for Osgar now. Out to the left-hand side for Gassama. Will he try and take Finlayson on? He's into the penalty area, gets to the byline. Finlayson's got to be careful, he does well. Gets the block in at the expense of a Rangers corner on this left-hand side. 1-0 Rangers.
I think it's been a good battle, hasn't it, between those two, Finlayson and Gassama. Gassama got the better of him in the first half. Finlayson knows he's been booked, he's got to be careful, but that's excellent 1v1 defending. He doesn't dive in, he doesn't leave a lazy leg, stays up strong and just blocks across, but eventually you would think Gassama will get the better of him.
So Tavernier across to the left-hand side again to deliver the corner kick. He's going to take this one short though to Gassama. Gassama trying to get a yard here on Macaulay Tate. Plays it back to Tavernier. Tavernier sends it deep. He's got that all wrong, and it's gone out all the way out towards the corner flag on the far side, and it's picked up by Danny Wilson, who immediately fires it forward looking for Smith. Barron's there first though, and he plays it back to Jack Butland. He's had a really impressive game, Connor Barron, as Butland just plays it out to Tavernier. Yes, Derek.
Yeah, and he's been excellent on the ball, but he's allowing Tavernier, you know, to get forward, and he's just drifting into that position, just that defensive position, that right-hand side, just to allow Tavernier to advance forward and try and get on the ball. So he's doing probably the work of two players at the moment.
Forward by Montgomery down the left-hand side. Magoma's over in that right full-back position at the moment, and he knocks that back to Butland, who knocks it out of play and also out of the stadium. Throw-in's quickly taken to Stevie Mays down at the corner flag, flicks it around the corner for Montgomery. Montgomery's cross is blocked, back out to Stevie May on that left side. Now Winter into Montgomery, tries the little flick for Stevie May. Stevie May, brilliant save from Jack Butland. That really needed saving, because Stevie May Looked like he was finding the back of the net there as he cut in from the left-hand side. Lovely little flick into his path from Montgomery. Great play from Livingston, but over the top from Butland. And it's a Livingston corner, and it's still Livingston 0, Rangers 1.
Yeah, it was, but it's Rangers switching off. Magoma, he's trying to get back to this left-hand side, and it's a simple throw at the byline. I'm not sure what Livingston player it was, but he's totally switched off. He's starting to drift across. It's a simple throw in, then they work it into the box, and I tell you what, brilliant effort from Stevie May.
Sure was. They've got a corner from it. As Livingston prepare a couple of changes, I think. But Stevie May with the corner, swings it to the back post. Out comes Butland, good take. Just a few yards off his line.
I'll just get back to that, and that's the two centre backs should be communicating with Magoma and saying, just stay where you are. There's a player there, just you sit in that area. He's making his way across. They should be screaming at him.
Yeah, at least until the ball goes out of play.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got possession back. So Rangers survive that particular scare, but it just shows you at 1-0 anything can happen. And but for Butland, Livingston would have been level as Gassama takes a shot on the right flank and tries to get the better of Montgomery. He's got to the byline. He's got the cross in towards the back post. Up goes Prior. Good take as he was backpedaling under a little bit of pressure. As Conor McLennan and I think Shane Blaney are going to come on. I just wonder if Blaney will go. Well, you were saying earlier Shane Blaney's left-footed, Stephen, so probably he wouldn't be a candidate to replace Danny Finlayson. So maybe that isn't the change that David Martindale is pondering. Maybe we'll see Mo Silla move into midfield or just replaced altogether.
I think Rangers again, they've got to recognise that Finlayson's been booked. Get the ball to Gassama when he was on this left-hand side. They haven't done that, and that's what I'm saying about taking ownership of the game. Thinking, if I'm in that midfield, I'm getting the ball to Gassama wide, and I'm saying get Finlayson, get at him, because Stephen said it earlier. He's probably got one more challenge in him, and if he doesn't get it right, he's off the park.
Yeah, so Finlayson is going to be replaced here by Blaney, and Conor McLennan also coming on. That's Andy Winter who has made way for him, so that's a like-for-like change really on the left-hand side. And
it's Mo Silla, isn't it?
Is Mo Silla going to come out and play right back?
He's going to play right back, and Shane Blaney will take his place at right centre half. I think it's a good decision from David Martindale. He recognises with what half an hour or so to go, his team are still well in this game. It's only 1-0. Going down to 10 players would be a real hindrance for them.
It certainly would, but you're asking a central midfielder now not only to have played out of position once, but now to move to full back and to... Well, here come Livingston, and Asgar gets himself in the way of Stevie May's cross. Yeah, asking him to now go up against Gassama, who's arguably Rangers' most dangerous player, but I'm sure Mo Silla will feel he is up to the task.
Joys of working with a smaller club, Al, on a smaller budget. This is what happens. Players have to be flexible.
Yeah, it's fair enough. 25 minutes to play. Rangers with a 1-goal advantage, but Livingston will feel they're still in the game as welcome to the right back position there for Mo Silla as he goes through the back of Gassama and wins. Rangers win the free kick.
You talk about budgets there. Rangers only one recognised left back. Magoma, a young 19-year-old, so they're a little bit short in that respect in that area.
Barron flips it forward looking for Gassama. Silla does well to make the interception, and even as he slips, gets the ball forward. Pittman then lifts it down this right-hand side for Stevie May. He looks up to see what his options are. Tries to take it away from Cornelius. Does get it across to that left-hand side. It's Tate in an advanced position. He pokes it back to Montgomery. Montgomery on the left flank looking to try and get the cross in beyond Antman, who does well to block it. And it's out for a throw-in over on the far side. No immediate sign that Rangers are about to make any changes with the 1-goal advantage with about 24 minutes left to play. Livy throwing then just down near the corner flag on their left-hand side to be taken by Adam Montgomery. Livy looking for an equalising goal here. Suitor away from the throw-in. Majowski just touches it back, but it's not found a teammate, and Conor McLennan picks up left-hand side of the box, drives it into the area. Good defensive header by Cornelius. Had to make that as Pittman looked to try and make a nuisance of himself as the late man arriving in the box, and it's going to be another throw-in over on the far side to the home team.
They're really growing in this game, Al. They really fancy their chances. They have got a sense right at the start of the second half that they can get something off this Rangers back line. They don't keep clean sheets very often, so they really feel they can get something.
And it comes from Montgomery. It's a long throw. It's Tavernier who gets his head to it first. McLennan trying to make something of it. Oh, Silla's almost in there. Still, it might be alive for Livingston. Rangers scrambling it away. Sissoko. Now it's the edge of the box. Smith, charged downwards. That handball by Oscar. That's the claims from the fans round about us, and they might have a case. It'll be double checked. Not sure. I think Oscar was slightly inside the penalty area, so it would be within VAR's jurisdiction. Here's Smith picking up once more on the right hand side. Good challenge by Magoma to get it out for a throw in, but your take, guys, was there a handball in there as Oscar blocked?
I thought it hit his leg. I have to say, whether his hand was in that vicinity, but it happened that quick. John Beaton hasn't put his hand up to hold up play. It's just going to restart, so clearly the VAR's had a word with John Beaton to say it come off his leg or his foot.
That clean sheet, it was December the 8th of last year. That's when Rangers last kept a clean sheet.
That's astonishing, isn't it?
They're doing 0-0 against Celtic.
Here's Montgomery. It's a header, goal! Equaliser for Livingston, and it's Mosilla who's got his head to the ball as it's flashed into the area from the right hand side, and Mosilla, who started the game as centre back, now at right back, but he found himself in the centre forward position to nod that one beyond Jack Butland to make it Livingston 1, Rangers 1.
Well, I did say a couple of minutes ago it was coming. You could just sense the tide had turned. Rangers are taking the foot off the gas. They haven't got up to speed in the second half. Livingston have played the ball forward. They put Rangers in the back foot. They've pressed higher up. They pitched. They put balls in the box. They sense they can crack this Rangers back line, and no surprise, delightful ball in from the right hand side from Lewis Smith, and Mosilla just glides into the box. It's a really powerful header, puts it into the ground, and Jack Butland's got absolutely no chance.
Right on cue. Hey Al, I just say that, last time they'd kept a clean sheet, December the 8th last year, and yeah, it was a well worked goal as well, and you could feel it coming. Stephen's been talking about it. They've started to fancy it. Deliveries into the box, and what a fine finish it was.
Yeah, great header from Silla, and Livingston will really feel they can go for this now. Here comes Stevie May, takes it on first time, doesn't catch it as it comes out of the sky, and it's way to go, and the boos now ring out from the Rangers fans, and the Livy fans round about us feel this game is theirs for the taking. 1-1.
And so they should. Rangers, we spoke about their first half performance, the dominance. Would they rue the missed opportunities? Well, they certainly are at this moment in time. The fans have now turned once again on Russell Martin, but there's a real emphasis on his players to try and drag this back in their favour.
Here's Gassama. Rangers cannot afford to drop more points.
Yeah, it's a short corner kick as well, Al, and it's only one player. I think it's Magoma goes out. So again, the organisation, been a little bit smart, out of possession of the ball, and Rangers aren't. They've paid the price again.
Here is Magoma, midway inside the Livy half, tries to feed it forward for Gassama. Silla's in the way. It's his first goal since making the move from Dundee. I don't think he actually scored for Dundee either.
He's certainly not a prolific goal scorer.
Certainly no.
I mean, you said it there, right back, centre half and centre forward. That's not bad going.
Yeah, he was right on the money with his finish. Yeah, I think that's his first goal in Scottish football, Mo Silla, and what a precious one it could be. Livingston will feel there is more in this game now for them, having got that leveller. 20 minutes to play, game back on a real knife edge. But we've been saying it since the start of the second period that this game's far from over, and Livingston proving that with the equalising goal as it goes back to Prior. Prior gets it clear. Barron is there before Pittman. Silla will go back and just knock that out of play for a Rangers throw. Rangers were planning a couple of changes. They're taking their time about actually making them. They're planning them before the goal went in, so I'm not sure if they've had a change of heart, but certainly Yusuf Chermiti is stripped and ready to come on. That'll be an interesting change. John Suter in possession of the ball. Stevie May's gone down off the ball in a clash with Cornelius, and eventually John Beaton has stopped the play to see if he needs treatment. It's his shoulder rather than his head he's holding as I think Bakila is going to get the shout here, might be to replace Stevie May.
It had that feeling now, getting into the second half, as if the Rangers players felt that it was job done, they had done enough, and quite clearly it was never going to be the case, because Livingston, they were never going to go away. They were going to keep at it, keep going, and then you could just sense it coming. They were making chances. Stevie May, a wonderful opportunity. Then the ball, it's a short corner kick. One player reacts to it. They don't get out quick enough to stop the cross. And then there's Sulla unopposed. You know, lovely header into the back of the net. And one apiece. Rangers try to go and do it all over again.
Rangers are making changes here. It's a triple change. They were going to bring on Finlay Curtis, I think, but he's nowhere to be seen. It's Rothwell, Chermiti and Aarons who are coming on. Antman's gone off. Derek Cornelius is coming off, and it looks like he's got a problem, an injury, so that looks like it's enforced, and that's going to mean presumably Tavernier coming into centre back and Aarons going out to right back. Let's see, is it Chermiti for Majowski here? Majowski's still on the field of play. He's trying to get an instruction to, he's trying to tell Russell Martin something about Gassama here, and meanwhile Jerome Prior is down as these substitutions are taking place, and
I think Osgaard's off, isn't he? Osgaard is off, Antman is off, and Cornelius is off. That's the three.
Osgaard's already gone, so I'm just Chermiti's still waiting to come on, but
yeah, but he's actually off. I don't think the fourth official realised that the third player was sitting in the dugout.
Yeah, well, again, you could argue that Taylor Osgaard's not done enough this afternoon to really justify the outlay that was made on him in the summer. He's not done enough to influence the game, and his side now level at one apiece as Jerome Prior gets a bit of treatment. So let's see how those changes affect the Rangers formation as much as anything else. Are they going to go with Chermiti and Majowski as a two up front? Not sure either of them can particularly play any other role up there, as the change is made as Stevie May is replaced by Jeremy Bakila for the closing stages here at Ammon Vale, and warmly applauded, and rightly so, by the Livingston fans. What a shift he's put in, Stevie May, and he's played a big part in getting his side level, and it stands just over a quarter of an hour to play. Livingston 1, Rangers 1. It really is anyone's game right now.
Yeah, looks like a 4-3-3. Rangers going Gassama, Chermiti through the middle, Majowski just pulling that right hand side, and Rothwell in the middle of the park, coming in there with Raskin and Connor Barron as well.
Oh, Rangers get really lucky there. Lewis Smith had charged down Magoma's ball forward. Magoma's hurt himself, but unfortunately for Livingston, Lewis Smith just stumbled as he made that block. Here comes Aarons at the other end, right hand side. Tavernier coming up in support. There's a slip there as Aarons sends it in. Chermiti couldn't get the shot away, and it's hacked clear by Sissoko, and now Smith will latch onto it, plays it into Bakila. Bakila with his first touch since coming on, plays it forward but behind McLennan, and it's going to go back though for a Livingston free kick. There's a foul in there as Bakila tried to play it forward, and Livy had a free kick just a few yards inside their own half. Just under 15 minutes to play. It's Livingston 1, Rangers 1, and it would be a brave man who would call the outcome of this one.
Well, the fact that Rangers are having to fight and battle and scrap to win a game that were so dominant in the first half just sums up how they are as a team at this moment in time.
Well, Magoma's gone down off the ball here. I told you just a moment ago that he went down, or he was injured as he tried to play the ball forward. Livingston in possession. I just don't understand why John Beaton has stopped the play, but it's not a head knock. I don't understand the rationale for stopping the game to allow treatment to Magoma here.
And I'm with you. The opposition have the ball. If you want to sit down on the pitch and say you've got a sore ankle or a sore knee, then that's not the referee's issue. You've got to come over to the side of the pitch, get yourself off, and your team have to play with 10 players. And so it's a poor call from John Beaton, and it doesn't matter if it's Rangers or anyone else. That should be the protocol.
Yeah, he got lucky there when he tried to play it forward and it was blocked. by Lewis Smith when Smith stumbled, but Rangers could have a problem here, as we've already been over. They don't have a replacement left back. The man who might have replaced him is already on at right back, because Cornelius is you would not be remotely surprised.
It's brilliant play from Montgomery. You know, we were talking about Rangers with the running power in the first half. He's ran, well, you're saying 40, 50 yards unopposed, but that's what's gave them a breathing life into this Livingston side. They believe this. They believe they can get the winner.
And this is where they could get it. Set plays, they're bigger, they're taller, they're more aggressive. It's the one area where Rangers lack.
Corner kick then from the left-hand side. Swung in onto the penalty spots. Montgomery gets his head to it, but it's well over the top from the young fullback. Rangers have the goal kick taken quickly by Butland, looking for Chermiti. He can't win it though, so who gets to it first, and then he's clipped by Chermiti, and Livingston will have the free kick. And again, this Rangers performance has become more and more disjointed as the second half has worn on. Livingston get the ball forward. Tate causing problems for Tavernier here. Gets to the byline, can't keep it in though, and Rangers will have the goal kick.
Well, the problem Rangers now have, they have a lopsided midfield because there's no one playing in the right-hand side. Miofsky out of possession, they're saying, can you go into that area to try and stop Adam Montgomery? But in possession, try and play next to Chermiti. So Joe Rothwell's having to get across, or Aarons is having to get up, so Levy may get success there.
Here's Gassama getting to the byline. Good ball from Raskan. Gassama's kept it in. Silla trying to get back at him. He's into the penalty area. Gassama turning one way then the other. Tries to squeeze it across goal. Straight behind for a goal kick, says John Beaton, the referee, into the side netting. And it's more disappointment for Rangers in this second period. But Livingston, at this stage, you have to say, to be well worthy of the point, if that's how it's going to finish. Rangers getting a shout out there to,
it's Mikey Moore, is it?
Mikey Moore, I think. Yeah, I think you're right, Stephen. In terms of another change, got just over 10 to play of the 90. Livingston in possession through Montgomery. 1-1 it stands.
And on that, Stephen, they don't look comfortable, you know, playing players out of position. You know, it's not natural to them, so you can actually see it. They're just not sure of themselves at the moment.
More hesitancy in the middle of the park. Suter gets it forward. Sissoko is fouled there, and Livingston get the free kick in the midfield area. And as pleased as Russell Martin must have been by the way things were going when it went in at half-time, they should really have probably been more than the one goal up. Tavernier had a penalty saved. Prior, a couple of really good saves, as Mikey Moore and Nadeem Bayrami prepare to come on here for the closing stages. Livingston have robbed possession in a dangerous area, but the effort from Conor McLennan well off target in the angle of the box. Rakila wanted to pass. McLennan fancied his chances and couldn't test Jack Butland, and it remains Livingston 1, Rangers 1 with less than 10 to play of the 90. Rangers looking to make that double change now, as Megoma is one of the players who's going to come off, and the other is Connor Barron, who's certainly run himself into the ground. So on comes Bayrami and Mikey Moore, and they're either going to go, it looks like Raskan's making the signal. It's essentially a 3 at the back for the closing stages here, as they look for the victory, which they absolutely need if they're to have any hope of pegging back Hearts and Celtic at the top of the table. I know it's early in the season, but this doesn't look like a Rangers side that's going to challenge for the title, despite what Russell Martin might have said prior to this game. And certainly if they drop points against one of the promoted teams and they go to the champions of the championship next weekend, but if they drop points, well, it's going to be further pressure. But here's Bayrami at the edge of the box trying to get a room for a shot, pokes it back the way. Aarons loses out in the challenge as McLennan almost gets free. Suter picks up though on the halfway line, plays it short to Tavernier, out to the left hand side for Raskan. Raskan can't get away from Sissoko, out of play for a Rangers throw and quickly taken back to Tavernier. It's going to be a frantic end to this game, you would imagine. Tavernier robbed of possession well by Lewis Smith, who now comes forward. Bayrami comes back and fouls him and earns a yellow card, and Livingston get the free kick, and pretty much everything is going the way of the visitors, of the home side. Everything's going against the visitors just now, but it's because Livingston are earning that.
Yeah, and James Tavernier, you know, he's got to up his game. He's been caught in the ball, that's 2 or 3 times already. You know, he's having a go at the referee, but myself, I haven't saw a foul in it, so he's got to get, you know, onto the ball, play it a little bit quicker, play it forward, but they're under pressure.
Here's Smith, right hand side, chance to test the keeper perhaps, but it's delivered neither a cross nor a shot in the end. He's offering a wave of apology there for his teammates, but got himself into a good position. I think it was Smith, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Smith that put the ball in for the equaliser?
Yeah, it was.
It was a lovely cross, wasn't it? Butland slips as he clears there, and he's so lucky that falls to Tavernier. That could have quite easily fallen to a Livingston player, and he would have been grounded had they been able to pick up possession there. But as it is, Rangers get away with that. 6.5 to play of the 90 as Rangers come forward in search of a winning goal. It's Chermiti at the angle of the box, right hand side, holding it up, rolling it back, looking for Gassama. Gassama pokes it to Raskan. Raskan now, he's got Mikey Moore outside him, and he leaves it to Mikey Moore. Tries to curl one straight into the arms of Prior. Comfortable take for the Livy keeper, and a tame effort from the on-loan Spurs winger. And it's still Livingston 1, Rangers 1.
That's good play by Rangers. Chermiti involved. Gassama coming off the right hand side, but when the ball falls to Mikey Moore, you're looking for a little bit of conviction, a little bit of belief that you're going to score the goal. He just side puts it right into the hands of Prior. And you said earlier on, I'll take a brave person to call who's going to win this game here, because Livingston, you're right, they've earned the right to be in this game and have a chance of winning it.
Chermiti now out to the left hand side for fellow substitute Mikey Moore. Into the penalty area he comes, trying to take on Silla. Good challenge from Silla, just stood up, kept his eye on the ball and put the boot in and won it. But Rangers have it back through Rodwell, out to Raskan left hand side. Russell Martin waving players forward. It's Raskan left hand side, curls it to the back post, punched away by Jerome Prior before Chermiti or Majowski could get there. The Rangers fans trying to urge their side on to a winning goal here. Thrown on the right hand side to be taken by Aarons, and it goes towards Majowski. Can't reach it though, and out for another throw-in on that far side. Rangers have it. It's Gassama trying to make something of it, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. Another attack peters out for Rangers, and Livingston, although they might not get the victory that is so long awaited against Rangers, they might well prevent Russell Martin's side getting a win for a 6th consecutive Premiership game. It's a disastrous start really to the league campaign from a side who has spent so much money. Here's Bakila trying to make things worse, but back goes Mikey Moore to mop up and get it back to Jack Butland. Butland clears up to the halfway line, won by Blaney, knocks it out of play. Throw into Rangers, just a few yards inside their own half. Chested back to Raskan by Tavernier. Raskan turns away there from Smith and then plays it into the feet of Chermiti. Chermiti spins to the left hand side and plays it out to Moore. Moore up against Silla, just slips it for Bayrami. Bayrami at the byline, can he pick out a teammate? Blocked at the near post by Pittman and then cleared by Blaney. Tavernier's first touch fortuitously comes to Suter. Tavernier once more, left hand side is Moore. Moore again up against Silla in a deep area, swings it to the back post, a good ball, it's over Majowski. Gassama can't turn it back across goal, and it's behind for another Livingston goal kick. We've played 86 minutes here. It's Livingston 1, Rangers 1.
Yeah, that's better from Rangers because there's more urgency in the play. They're doing everything quicker, sharper, but that needed to be done at the start of the second half to set the tone of the game. They haven't done that. They paid the price with them being pegged back, but you know, they're leaving it later. They're going to try and get this winner, but to be honest with you, it certainly doesn't look like it's going to come.
You just feel as if the substitutions and the change of shape has completely flummoxed Rangers. I thought they just took away any kind of momentum that they were starting to build. They've now got it back a little bit, but there's only minutes left in the game, so the manager, I think, has to hold his hands up and say he got it wrong.
Yeah, and Stephen, I was watching the players, watching Tavernier, watching Suter, watching Aarons. They were really unsure what they were doing at the back there, whether it was 3 at the back, whether it was 4 at the back. You could see the discussions going on, so you would think that would be something that they've worked on previous in training. If this scenario happens in the game, we go to this way of playing.
I'll tell you better than that. Conor Barron actually went over to some sort of analyst with an iPad and was pointing out shape and telling them where to go, as if to say, well, he's going to play there, you're going to play in here, all right, okay. So they made the substitutions and the players on the pitch don't know what they're changing to.
Far from ideal from a Rangers point of view, as Graham Carey and Tete Yengi look like they're going to come on for the last few minutes here, as Livingston look to, at the very least, see it out for a point and maybe, just maybe, grab themselves a winner. Off comes Lewis Smith to be replaced by another man with a very, very good left foot in Graham Carey, and then Yengi will come on to replace Mo Sissoko, who's had a good first start for Livingston in the middle of the park. It's been ushered off the field of play here by John Beaton, but again, warm applause from the home fans for the efforts of the players who are making way, as they are within a couple of minutes of taking a point from Rangers here. On comes Yengi, as Prior prepares to take this goal kick. And the Rangers fans again make their thoughts on the manager known in no uncertain terms. And it's, for a long time, not been a minority. There's vast swathes of the Rangers support who believe Russell Martin is not the man to take them forward, and but for a decent chunk of the first half, I haven't had too much to cheer about. It's going to be lengthy added on time, you would imagine, here, maybe as much as 8 minutes, as Rangers come forward here through Aarons. Oh, it's a strong challenge there from Montgomery, and John Beaton straight to his pocket. Went in with such ferocity there. He might well have taken a decent amount of the ball, but when you go in with that pace in the modern game, well, he's seen yellow, and he's quite fortunate that he has taken some of the ball in that regard, because otherwise it could have been much worse for Montgomery. And what he has done is put his side under pressure here. This is a free kick to Rangers just outside the penalty area, right of centre, as Aarons picks himself up. But that was a rash challenge, would it be fair to say?
I thought he went the ground though, Al. You know, he wasn't going in with the studs high. I think he was coming in to try and make some sort of a slide tackle, and he may just have caught him after the ball, but the yellow card may have been a little bit harsh, but I have to say it back.
8 minutes added on is confirmed as Rangers have this free kick. It's Tavernier over it, about 25 yards from the goal line, but right of centre. He clips it in towards the back post. Glanced out to this near side. Chermiti just seeing that out for a throw-in.
No, he gets a hold of the ball. So does he? Yeah, he gets it. It's just what you said, Al. It's just the force. It's simply not allowed in this day and age.
Long throw-in coming from the left-hand side from Tavernier, right into the mixer in the 6-yard box. Livingston get it cleared to the edge of the box. Rothwell nods it down. Rami can't latch onto it. Tavernier slipped, and Livingston could be away here. It's Bakila. Bakila crossing the halfway line, plays it forward for McLennan, who's fast. Rami's trying to get back at him. Tried the early ball in there, McLennan looking for Graham Carey, and it wasn't a good enough ball, and Butland gathers and immediately bowls out to Raskin. Rangers in a hurry here, a minute of stoppage time gone as Gassama fires it forward, looking for Mikey Moore. Back there went Bakila. Brilliant backtracking there from the striker, who just a moment ago was involved in Livy's own counter, and he heads it behind for a Rangers corner. Is there further drama to come here at Almond Vale? Livingston coming from a goal down to level things up. And now into the 3rd minute of added on time as Tavernier from the left-hand side curls it in near post. Again, it was Silla who got to it first, heads it clear. Gassama picks up left-hand side, cuts back onto his right foot. Now he curls it into the near post area, half cleared, and then hooked in the wrong direction there by one of the Livingston players, and it's going to be another corner kick, I think. Yep, another corner to Rangers on this left-hand side as Livingston look to withstand this late Rangers pressure and earn themselves a point. And it comes again from Tavernier. That's a back post ball. Comes off a Rangers head, but not towards goal, as Rothwell will go and try and pick up, and he'll knock it back here for Moore. Moore now to Aarons, angle of the box, tries to swing it in, but Montgomery's in the way. Aarons gets it again. Now it's Rothwell. Rothwell sends it into a good area off the crossbar. Prior might have got a touch there as the header came in from Bojan Majowski. Prior must have got a touch, in fact, because the referee's pointed for a corner. I'm pretty sure it clipped the bar as well, but good save again from Prior.
It's a brilliant save. Great header as well. You know, that's goal. That's goal bound. It's an absolutely magnificent save.
In comes the corner from the right-hand side this time again. Silla first to it. Comes to Moore, completely misses his kick on the edge of the box. Gassama's there to pick up. Is he bundled to the ground there? Yes, he is. And the free kick goes Rangers' way, midway inside the Livy half. Rangers keen to get on with it, but Livingston getting everyone back behind the ball. So Prior again stepping up to the plate to keep his side level on this occasion, denying Majowski. Rangers might have another chance here though. It's Tavernier clipping the free kick into the box once more. Again, Livingston deal with it well. Moore returns it. Rothwell gets it back to Moore, right-hand side of the penalty area. Can he get a cross in? Instead, he wins his side, a corner off Wilson. Well, Rangers leaving it late, but it is mounting pressure on this Livingston back line with just over 4 of the added-on minutes left to play. Tavernier will try once again from the right-hand side into the near post. Raskin try to make something of it. Goal! Max Aarons with a first goal in Rangers colours. Might just have won it for Rangers at the death. It fell to him at the back post and he just lashed it in low. Nothing Prior could do from such close range. And Rangers, who've been pegged back by an excellent Livingston side in this second period, have got their noses in front once more. It's Livingston 1, Rangers 2.
Yeah, it's a wonderful finish, I've got to say. I think somebody wins a header at the near post and flicks it on, and Max Aarons reacts the quickest. He just fizzes it into the bottom of the net. I don't think Livingston have deserved this. They've worked hard, they've pushed the game. Rangers has become a little bit desperate and panicky, throwing balls into the box, a little bit hopeful. But I suppose there's that old adage that if you continually put the ball into dangerous areas, something will eventually fall your way. I mean, the supporters on the pitch celebrating as if they've won the league. They've only just potentially got themselves 3 points against Livingston away from home.
And that's what's quite incredible, Stevens. But listen, Rangers do deserve to get that because they have pressed, they have made changes. Yeah, they've looked disorganised within that as well, but they've kept at it. They get a little bit of luck in terms of Aarons finds himself at the back post, but decent strike, it's in there. But the reaction of the fans, it just shows you how much they've been starved of anything. Even a win against Livingston, you're right, they're celebrating as if they have won the cup.
Well, we always wondered if there would be further drama, and so it has transpired. With 3 minutes to play, Max Aarons has put Rangers back in front with a first goal for his new club. And Chermiti now down at the corner flag. Rather than keep possession, he's played it into the middle of the penalty area. Gassama picking up on that right-hand side now. He's got Montgomery for company over on the right flank. Almost showed too much of it to him there. Still he has it though, Gassama down at the corner flag, just plays it off Montgomery and buys his side a throw in. And at this stage it will be a case of Rangers just trying to keep the ball down in that area, keep it as far away from their own goal as possible, and try and hold on for that first long overdue victory of the league season. Livingston, can they somehow get the ball up the other end and get the opportunity to grab a second equaliser? Looks like Rangers have won themselves a free kick down near the corner flag as Bayrami went to ground. And This will all work out well for the visitors if they can just keep the ball in that area down at the corner flag. Right hand side is Gassama. Gassama now being dragged off it, but Rangers continue in possession. It's Bayrami once more, right hand side, coming in field now to the edge of the box, gets it back from Chermiti. Pittman though makes the intervention. Livingston will try and get it forwards here. Can he create one more opportunity? Bakila is the willing runner. Tavernier does well as he dragged to the ground there by Bakila. He's earned himself a free kick. It was good defending, you have to say, there from the captain, who was under pressure from the big striker. The Rangers have a free kick. We've played 7 of the 8 minutes that were initially added on, and it's Livingston 1, Rangers 2.
That just shows you how, when you bring intensity, you bring pressure, desire, hunger, you keep putting the ball into the box, into the danger area, you get your rewards. And Rangers just don't do that enough within the game, within 90 minutes. So surely that should be the message, you know, going forward. You know, we maybe need to change our style a little bit. We might need to get forward there with longer balls. You know, it doesn't need to be that slow build up, because they ain't done that, you know, going towards the end of the game, and they find themselves 2-1 up.
Livingston are throwing down the right hand side. It comes. Yengi beaten in the jump there by Suter. We've only got a few seconds of the 8 minutes left, but there will be a little bit further added on because of the Rangers goal. And McLennan now has an opportunity from a long throw in here on the right hand side. Livingston throwing just about everyone forward. Montgomery stayed back. In comes the throw in from McLennan. Rangers desperately trying to keep this at bay. Pittman will go and try and get onto it, but Gassama's beating him to it. Pittman's done well though, recovers, sends it back into the box. Bakila chests it down. Yengi on the left hand side, but Tavernier will clear up towards the halfway line. Only seconds now remaining, surely, as Montgomery forces it forward, out for a throw in to Livingston, but no time to take it, and Rangers have their first league victory of the season. It has been the very definition of hard fought and hard earned, but just at the death, Max Aarons with a first ever goal for Rangers lashes home what turned out to be the winning goal after Livingston had mounted a superb second half comeback, deservedly dragged themselves level as Mo Silla headed in his first goal for the club from a terrific Lewis Smith cross to cancel out James Tavernier's first half opener. Rangers perhaps should have been further ahead at the interval but weren't, and Livingston almost made them pay in that second period. But in the 4th minute of added on time, a Tavernier corner, Raskan tried to flick it on, it fell kindly to Aarons at the back post, and first time he just lashed it into the bottom corner to make the final score at Almond Vale. Livingston 1, Rangers 2.